From Amazon to Apple, the unionization fight is making its way across America, even hitting Capitol Hill. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has scheduled a vote for this week on a resolution that would allow House staffers to unionize. She also raised the cap on staff salaries and announced a new base pay of $45,000 per year for House aides. The changes come after months of behind-the-scenes unionizing efforts by Capitol Hill workers and after Dear White staffers, an anonymous Instagram account claiming to share first-person accounts about working conditions on the Hill, went viral. Joining me now, Kurt Bardella, an advisor for both the DNC and the DCCC. He's also a former spokesperson and advisor to Republicans on the House Oversight Committee. So, Kurt, Politico says the Dear White People staffers account blew up Capitol Hill. I mean, do you think that's true? How much of a role do you think that Instagram account played in making these inroads on Capitol Hill?
You know, I think it's absolutely true, Zerlina. I mean, I can only imagine if we had had something like this back during my time on Capitol Hill, and I got there back in 2006, before the internet really were a thing here and social media was a thing. There would have been so many stories that many people I know that I worked with in different offices would have been happy to share within an account like this. I think that having these anecdotes, and not just one or two of them, but just hundreds of them coming in every day to this person who runs this account, tells you that there are a lot of staffers who have suffered, frankly, a lot of abuse over the years and across the House and Senate offices. And it's about time that we had something in place that can actually tell those stories in a way that's safe, that's anonymous, because listen, this is the real world. Every staffer knows if you go public with your name about a member of Congress mistreating you, no office will hire you again. You'll get blacklisted. And this account has helped alleviate people of that burden so that these stories can actually funnel through, come out, and help create the pathway to change.
I would argue that that's another form of abuse, silencing. So help us understand what this upcoming vote could actually mean for House staffers. Do you think it will pass?
I do think it'll pass, and I think that, again, we are just finally getting to a place where, like every other workplace in America, there can be a framework for organization, a framework for unionization, and a framework, frankly, to actually have some sort of process where you can credibly take legitimate HR complaints to some place and have them acted upon. Because right now, Capitol Hill's been the Wild Wild West. You live and die at the whims of the member that you work for. Capitol Hill is really 535 individual fiefdoms that have been set up. And whether you succeed, whether you advance, whether you get promoted, how much money you make, completely is up to the whims of a very narrow few. And that needs to change, because we've seen time and again, and this account has illustrated and highlighted this, there are so many different abuses and so many things that should not happen. I remember when I worked on Capitol Hill, I heard all the time instances where members of Congress were having their staff do menial personal errands and projects that have nothing to do with their business. I've seen stories where the spouse of a member doesn't like a particular person in their office, so they have them lowered, removed, assigned somewhere else. That kind of stuff shouldn't happen anywhere, especially in the people's house.
Right, because we're paying them. I don't want them picking up dry cleaning. I want them doing work on behalf of the constituents. I feel like that's just like a nonpartisan, American statement. Like, I'm a voter. I want them to be working. So one of the quotes that I wanted to flag was Pelosi's statement. She said, congressional staffers deserve the same fundamental rights, to your point, and protections as workers all across the country, including the right to bargain collectively. I mean, where are the Republicans on this? Are they engaged in this conversation, or is the word union, does that like turn them off right away?
Yeah, this is such an interesting dynamic here, Zulan, because you have staffers who work for Republicans who are routinely abused in the ways that we've kind of talked about right here. And we see the offices, and it's public, that have very high turnover. That's usually a signal that there's something not going right there with that member or with that leadership. And so you're in a situation now where ideologically, perhaps, Republicans might want to be against this because, like you said, the word union's a boogeyman to them. But the people who work for them are going to be very much for this because they want those protections too. So it's going to create some interesting tension inside the office. At the end of the day, I don't expect a lot of Republicans to go along with this because, as we've seen in their public policy posture for everybody, they're generally against workers' rights. They're generally against having any type of quote-unquote minimum wage, for example. They're not the party that's for the working class, the working man at all. Democrats are. It's not surprising that this is all happening right now under Democratic rule.
Well, how is that possible? So I understand sort of like theoretically not being for workers' rights, but not even the people that work for you. You don't care about them. You don't care about them having a living wage. You don't care about them being able to afford rent and food and all the necessities that they need to do their jobs and live securely. No?
I'll put it this way, Zerlina. These are the people who believe and have said publicly that the Democratic arsonists who stormed the Capitol with violent intentions are patriots. They didn't care that their staff was in harm's way. They didn't care that their staff was traumatized by that day. They don't care that their staff was literally barricading themselves in hideaways in the Capitol to prevent the mob from getting to them. If they don't care about their well-being on that front, it doesn't shock me in the least that they don't care about their ability to make ends meet, make rent, eat food, and have a healthy workplace.
Make rent, eat food, have a healthy workplace. I don't even feel like those are partisan points. Those are just like probably good to have for everybody. Hi, I'm Zerlina Maxwell. Thanks for checking out our channel on YouTube. You can see more from Zerlina by clicking any of the videos on this screen, and make sure you subscribe below to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. Thanks for watching.